Oh. Anybody would think I played northern people.
First of all, thank you very much for coming along to see us. I know
Thank you
you're
for having
quite
me.
busy at the moment.
Yes.
Work-wise.
Yes, we're halfway through. It's like pepperetti. It's like Cannes. Yeah, we're halfway through Ashes at the moment, filming. We've done put the first 4 in the can, and we're on episodes 5 and 6. But I'm not going to tell you what happens, obviously.
Well, one of my first questions was going to be, what can we expect from your character? From what sort of character development can we expect?
Well, I've got different shoes. They're kind of cool, actually. I rather like them. And a new coat. Same gloves. I insisted on keeping the gloves. Yeah, well, we've just tried to sort of... before, I think Gene... we saw Gene was kind of the big fish in the small pond, He was the sheriff of Manchester. And obviously Ashes we've set in London, and so Gene joins the Met. And so we see a man who sort of kind of becomes the small fish in the big pond and has to sort of deal with them southern Nancy Fairy boys.
And
Yeah.
I understand you've got a new car as well.
I have. I've got a very nice Audi Quattro. Is anybody from Audi out there? Yeah, no, it's great. It's I can't remember whose idea. I think I did have a say in it, because I just remember that period, the sort of late 70s, early 80s, and watching all that rally stuff on telly, and it was always the Audi Quattro was the amazing new car. And so when it was mooted we were doing this set in the early 80s and in London, I just thought, what was the iconic car of the time? And it was a toss-up between the Audi Quattro and a Mini Metro. And I just somehow I know there's budget cuts at the BBC at the moment, but I just couldn't see Gene in a Mini Metro,
Yeah,
So we went with the Audi Quattro, but it's a bit of a beast. We've had to sort of do a few alterations, and so that we keep the nice handbrake skids and turns in for the show. We got some great sequences. We shot a fantastic one the other day, and we got some fantastic stunt drivers and some very brave actors. And we shot a good sequence the other day. So, yeah.
Watching Life on Mars, it looks as though the whole company have really enjoyed making that series. Was it as fun to do as it appears to be?
Yes, it was. It was enormous fun. It's hard work. I mean, it's always looks... What you see on the screen is absolutely nothing like, sort of what goes on behind the scenes. It's long hours, but we have a fantastic crew as well who work their arses off. I can't praise them highly enough. Each department, they're so skilled at what they do. And there's so much trust involved in making a television program, and that's kind of the joy of making them in a way. It's the team effort that goes into it. Everybody has their, whether you're in front of the screen or you're behind it, it's a real team effort. And when you get scripts that are as fantastic as Mr. Graham and his team write, then you can't really go wrong. And with a part like Gene, it was just, from an actor's point of view, just one of those rare moments one has had in their career where you could say, I played Gene Hunt. It's a bit like, I'm going to make it a franchise like Bond. Lots of different Gene Hunts. So it's always an absolute pleasure when you've got a fantastic script, because obviously that's the first point of call for everybody. I mean, it's why the writer is so unique in this industry. It's because, and should be so glorified amongst everybody, above everybody in many respects, because they're the only person that starts with a blank canvas. The rest of us have something to work with. The art designer has something to work with. The actor has something to work with. The director, the producer, which is called the script. But the writer has to start from, that. And that's why they're so extraordinary, and, praise cannot be heaped highly enough on the profession and Matthew.
Once the series was up and running, were you able to put in any input script-wise?
Yeah, we changed everything. No, well, yeah, I mean, you know, we would tweak with stuff, as we call it, just tweaking, because it was, you know, it was so tight, and it was, certainly from my point of view, playing a character like Jean, you know, it was one of those rare moments as an actor, and I'm usually one of these actors, I'm like, I don't know what accent, how am I going to play it? And, you know, put all this onto my wife, so Beth, help me out. But with this, it just leapt off the page. The character just came straight off the page, and I knew for some unknown reason, just instinctively, how I wanted to play him, what this man was about. Mm-hmm. Very rare moment, but very nice.
I wanted to ask you as well, were you upset by newspaper reports that linked your character with bullying in schools?
No, not really. I kind of... What was that, in the Sun or the Mail or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think I don't really worry too much about what the tell. I don't think anybody should, because it's usually filled with lies anyway. No, I sort of saw the headline and, well, it's tomorrow's chip paper, isn't it, really?
And how did you feel about dealing with, in a way, you were dealing with current issues within the scripts, like race and things like that, but because you were putting it in the context of 1970s, you were able to get away with things that you wouldn't be able to do with something that was set now.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that? Was that a fun
Great.
thing to do? Was that?
Yeah, well, it's the only way you can sort of get stuff on screen now with, having a good excuse for saying, well, you can't say that. And I said, well, yeah, but it's 1973, they would have said it. But the funny thing is, actually, there's very little bad language in Life on Mars. There's no effing. I don't think we say the F word at all. There's a few bastards and bloodies and all that. But I think issue-wise, I think what it sort of says, it's not so much says about 1973, it sort of says what we're about now in 2007. And what you can and can't say. I mean, even this is just a recent thing. This is from the last series of Life on Mars to starting to shoot Ashes to Ashes. And we were doing some scenes where I have to drive the car and we have to have the cameraman in the car. And now, suddenly, I was told a few weeks back, we can't, health and safety, you're not allowed to do that now. You know, in the space of 8 months. So, being Gene Hunt, I said, bollocks to that. We're going to do that. As far as I'm concerned, laws are there to be bloody broken if they're stupid. And it was a health and safety issue, and it was just nonsense. So we closed the road off and said, right, private road, we can do it, let's do it. So we did. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you have any fun memories from filming Life on Mars? Anything that happened on set? Or?
Oh, God, loads. It's such one of those questions, and you suddenly think, oh, gosh. Yeah. I mean, there were so many in many respects. We had quite a funny sort of off-camera... We had, in episode 7 of Series 2, I don't remember, you remember, I get dolled up as Tufty the squirrel. Thanks, mate. And we were filming at the BBC in Manchester, in Oxford Road. We had the big studio there. And it was towards the end of filming, so we were about sort of August, September. I think we were into September. And there was all this sort of PR stuff and leaflets going around for children in need, because they do that every November, I think it is. And all the regions play a big part in that. So there were all these pictures of the bear. I forgot, Pudsey, isn't it? Pudsey Bear. All over reception, getting their thing together. So I thought it'd be quite fun, dressed as my squirrel, as Tufty, to see if I could get a gig on Children in Need. So I went to the front desk of the BBC dressed as a squirrel and asked if I could have a job. You know, if the bear needed a hand, or, you know, maybe the bear was sort of the Ming Campbell and a bit old and should be moved on. And they didn't get it. It was one of those, like, straight over their heads. The security